So can DOOMGuy from the early Doom series survive or even defeat some of the antagonists present in Analog Horror? Well, let's examine both sides and see what could possibly happen in this hypothetical situation. To begin, we have to get to know what kind of version of DOOMGuy to pit up against these threats and creatures from the Analog Horror videos. In order to make a more interesting video, I will use the classic Doom Marine from the early retro Doom game, because if it was the Doom Slayer, then the video would end pretty quickly and it would be called, Could Analog Horror Survive the Doom Slayer? Or more accurately, How long could Analog Horror survive the Doom Slayer? For this video, I will include the Analog Horror series of Vita Carnis, the Boiled One Phenomenon, and the Mandela Catalogue. So let's get into the strength and capabilities of the Doom Marine. A marine that was once in hell, that fought against its many demons non-stop just to try and save humanity. Although he is stated to be just a regular human marine, his abilities in survival in hell make him far more than human, even without his arsenal of demon-killing weapons. Since there aren't too many feats to look at from canon aside from the gameplay and the comics, getting an accurate power scale of the Doom Marine was a little tricky. From the sources I looked at, like the comics and a bit into the lore of the games, and also a couple forums here and there, I can conclude that DOOMGuy is somewhere close to the level of strength and durability of a Spartan from the Halo games, without their Mjolnir armor. For reference, DOOMGuy is 6'2", 230 pounds of rage. He's able to take electrocution, blast from explosions, and even some physical attacks from demons. From the comics and games, he's able to punch through demons and tear through metal gates, and has seemingly infinite endurance, which could be derived from his rage against hell. And since DOOMGuy is comparable to a Spartan, we can take a small gander as to the feats of a Spartan to get a better idea as to DOOMGuy's physical strength. A Spartan 2 is about 15 or so times stronger than the average fit human, and without their armor they are about 3 times stronger than a normal person, give or take. So DOOMGuy being comparable to the Spartans, he's probably around equal to, or maybe even a little bit stronger than the levels of strength a Spartan 2 would have without their armor, making it so DOOMGuy could most likely lift several hundred pounds and punch pretty darn hard, and he might be able to rip and tear demons. So with his physical feats out of the way, let's look at his arsenal, because what would Doom be without the devastating arsenal of the Doom Marine? In his arsenal, he has weapons that can bring a lot of devastation to the demons he fights. He would have his standard weaponry, like the shotgun and the pistol, along with bigger guns like a chain gun and a rocket launcher, to even futuristic weapons such as the plasma rifle and the BFG 9000. Oh, and don't forget the Unmaker as well. Each of these weapons are capable of eviscerating demon flesh, like the shotgun and the chain gun being able to take chunks off the demons with ease, and with his other weapons like the rocket launcher being able to blow them apart, and the plasma rifle being able to cook them alive with really hot plasma. The BFG 9000 though is a bit of a big gun, if you know what I'm saying, and with that size, it comes with a huge blast of energy that then has many tendrils that can span out to deal further damage to any demon in the general vicinity. And when that big giant ball of green energy hits, it's incredibly devastating. And to end off his arsenal with the Unmaker, which is a bit of a strange weapon because it uses demonic energy in demons against them to damage them, which makes it so it's only really usable against demons. And to top it all off, he also has a chainsaw, and the armor he wears isn't just for show. It's about twice as strong as standard issue security armor that you would normally find. So now that we have an idea of what DOOMGuy can do, let's start looking at each Analog Horror one by one to see if the Doom Marine can be the guy to bring doom to these horrors.
Strange types of creatures have come to Earth and have assimilated themselves as part of the ecosystem. They are made of meat, and some of these creatures are harmless and even beneficial, but others are highly dangerous to the general populace.
Vita Carnis is a set of creatures made of living meat. As a new part of the ecosystem, they live amongst humans and wildlife as if though they were already there. So, could DOOMGuy live in a world with this Vita Carnis or even destroy the living meat entirely? Well, let's start off with the trimming. This little living meatball won't stand much of a chance at all because they're the weakest and most vulnerable of the Vita Carnis. So much so that they're considered harmless to even normal people, and they scale to around the combat capacity of a raccoon minus the rabies, so easy win for the Doom Marine. As for the Crawl, it won't fare much better because it's just a meat plant from which the other Vita Carnis like the trimmings spawned from. So the DOOMGuy would just turn it into meat mulch, which would in turn be beneficial for the soil because of the high nutrient value of the Crawl. Now, the Harvester might be able to do a bit of damage if the Doom Marine unfortunately gets ensnared and poisoned by the tendrils of the Harvester, which have venoms that are neurotoxic and anticoagulant. But if we're being real, I think DOOMGuy would have probably been attacked by demons that could have some sort of similar venom, so maybe not. Then we move on to the Host of Influence, which would be around the same level of danger as the Harvester because it has spores that can make victims very sick, and after some time, it'll take control of their mind and bring them to the Harvester, in which they will then be gutted and consumed. Could the spores work on the DOOMGuy? No. At best, it would probably at least give DOOMGuy a bit of a migraine just before he runs up on the host and checks his vibe with a bit of lead. Mimics, though, would have a far more interesting confrontation because of their ability to blend in with people. This could allow for a surprise attack, but then they would quickly be punished with a point-blank shotgun blast to the chest or head. The Elder Mimics, which are more of an advanced mimic that results from eating much more people, they have much thicker and resistant skin that could probably withstand most of the firearms in DOOMGuy's arsenal, at least the conventional ones. But if DOOMGuy were to use anything other than something like the shotgun or pistol, or even the chain gun, then the Elder Mimic would go from Vita Carnis to Mince Carnis. And even if its durable skin could take all the gunfire, rockets, and everything the DOOMGuy would have to shoot at him, he would just have to go for the unprotected face of the Mimic to win. The Singularity is a bit of an interesting one because it acts more so as the central part of the living meat, and from what I researched, it really doesn't have many defense mechanisms that would make it be able to stand up against the DOOMGuy in a 1v1. They are able to disrupt electronics, but that's about it, so another win for the Doom Marine. Now for the most intriguing one, the Monolith. Colossal 120 meter tall titans of meat that are usually stationary, but when they're active they become a real threat. They're able to use these bits of meat spaghetti to swipe and whip, causing massive destruction because of their size. With this large size, a hit from the Monolith could severely damage or incapacitate the DOOMGuy, so he would have to be quite careful and even agile around these guys, just so he wouldn't get hit, which shouldn't be much of a problem because he can run up to 57 miles per hour, so he should be able to get a safe distance away to be able to blast at the Monoliths. This would make for a very easy win for the DOOMGuy if the Monoliths did not have crazy regeneration. Monoliths can get hit with a rocket and regenerate that part in mere seconds, so DOOMGuy's arsenal would be mostly ineffective. The only real way for DOOMGuy to pack on some damage, and maybe enough damage to get rid of the whole Monolith, would be to use something like the BFG or a giant volley of rockets. The Unmaker would not work at all because the Monolith is not a demon, so we're counting that one out. So most likely this would be a bit of a stalemate. Also because it has a EMP which probably could disable something like the BFG, which is very advanced. To answer the main question, could DOOMGuy survive Vita Carnis? He very well could, and even thrive in a world with Vita Carnis, but he would be unable to fully destroy and get rid of the living meat because of the Monoliths.
When your doctors eventually find you, they will not see me, but you will, and I'll see you too, forever. I'll see you.
Fen 228, or the Boiled One phenomenon, is a cognito-hazardous creature that feeds off pain. It is incorporeal and only appears to those who mistakenly, or unfortunately, watch a broadcast that shows Fen 228. It stalks you until you inevitably have to go to sleep, and when you wake, the Boiled One watches over you and tortures you all the while you are paralyzed, unable to speak, and unable to really do much of anything other than just be stuck in your own head. So the big question, would the Boiled One be able to paralyze and even torture the Doom Marine? Well, if we forget the fact that DOOMGuy probably doesn't sleep during his rampages in hell, then he would most likely not be affected by the paralyzing effects of the Boiled One. Why? Simply because he's Angie. And another plausible reason is simply because, he would probably encounter something that would be able to paralyze or mind control normal people in hell. It's a fantasy sci-fi, so somebody should have at least tried some tranquilizers or some magic if trying to kill him with brute force didn't work. But if you actually take into account the fact that he just doesn't sleep and is just angry and fights all the time, then it would most likely just result into the boiled one just coming out of the corner of his eye and while he angrily tries to blast them any chance he could. So this would be a stalemate. So can DOOMGuy survive the boiled one phenomenon? Yeah, pretty much he can. But he can't kill him or damage him, so he's just gonna have a new bothersome friend around that he tries to shoot anytime he sees him.
Strange humanoid creatures have started invading homes. These creatures copy the likeness of someone and try to dispatch them by bringing them to insanity, making them cut their existence short.
The Mandela Catalogue has alternates which are creatures who mimic people. The general ability of these alternates are that they are able to mimic audio, shapeshift, teleport, and are thought to be immortal, or at least very difficult to kill. Their main way of killing is by causing someone to go insane to the point of making them kick the bucket early by doing it themselves, if you know what I'm saying. These alternates do come in a few different flavors. One version of the alternates are flawed impersonators who haven't got the mimicry down so well, so when they take the form of a person or animal, they are very misshapen and disfigured. The doppelganger is a step above them because they are much better at mimicking things, to the point where they can be a near identical copy. Then there are the tulpas, which are beings that are willed into existence by imagination and can travel and manifest through reflective surfaces. Lastly, there are the unspeakables, which are the highest order of alternates, having all the same abilities with much more dangerous, antagonistic, and especially anomalous powers. So to start, let's assume flawed impersonators and doppelgangers are of similar powers and strengths. They would prove rather troublesome for the DOOMGuy because they're able to teleport around. This would make it so shooting them is a bit more difficult than just shooting a stationary target or even something that just runs around. Their main method of attack, which is to drive people insane to the point of, kicking the bucket a little bit earlier by their own hands, wouldn't really work against the DOOMGuy because, if we're being real, they can't drive them any more insane than hell already has. So after finding out they can't really drive them any more mad, they would either ignore them and go find something a lot easier to attack, or they would use their teleportation to hit them with a couple little sneaky hits here and there, which with their immense strength could actually hurt the DOOMGuy pretty badly. A pretty important piece of information regarding the alternates is that there is a version of the devil in this story, which is the first alternate, who took the form of the Archangel Gabriel, and from there all other alternates emerged. So it's safe to assume that alternates are some form of demon, which would make the Unmaker usable in this situation. This weapon, if able to land a few shots, would decimate the alternates. And since some of the demons that DOOMGuy faced even in the games could teleport, that would mean DOOMGuy has a pretty good chance at taking out any of the doppelgangers or flawed impersonators. As for the tulpas, this would play out similar to the boiled one, where they kind of just appear, annoy him, and DOOMGuy can't really do much about it, and the tulpas can't really harm him or do anything to him, so that would be a stalemate. And now for the final boss of the Mandela Catalogue, the alternate which took the form of Gabriel. Since this first alternate is the devil, he has the same abilities as the other alternates which derive from him, but he's a lot more anomalous and a lot stronger. Now, does this mean that his weapons couldn't work against them? No. But the thing is that even if the Doomslayer could easily damage the alternate Archangel, the broken abilities of the alternate would far surpass what DOOMGuy would be able to survive, so it would be more so a battle of who could kill who first, which DOOMGuy wouldn't really be able to win that. So could the Doom Marine survive the Mandela Catalogue? He would pretty much be able to survive as long as he just sticks to fighting against the alternates and just gunning them down, then he should be fine. But if he were to actually meet the big boss of the Mandela Catalogue, then he would get disposed of. Not easily, but still, he would lose that battle. So to answer the overarching question, could DOOMGuy survive Analog Horror? Well, that depends obviously on a few things, since the DOOMGuy is not that incredibly strong, especially compared to when he gets the divine powers and turns into the Doomslayer. He's only really able to survive Analog Horror universes where the creatures and anomalies are within the scale of the demons in Doom's version of hell. Any incorporeal beings would just make a stalemate because DOOMGuy can't really hurt them, and they most likely wouldn't be able to hurt hurt him in any actual way, especially not psychologically. And if any analog horror has some sort of being that's very powerful or very difficult to kill, or that is just so huge and can regenerate, then DOOMGuy pretty much loses. Thanks for watching, and if I got anything wrong or missed some information, leave it in a comment down below so people can really know what's going on. And also remember to like and subscribe with notifications set to all. See you later.